Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm Andy Billman here. Rob Valore there. Grab your sticks. Browns come marching into New Orleans. Winston leading the way as Cleveland sees old friend Joe Woods. Buckeyes in Wrigley Field. Yay, hooray. We'll talk about that in another noon game. I'll get to why that bothers me. And the Cavs are at 13-0, and they are rolling. And probably we should be putting them first because of how well they are. But this is a football town. So the Browns lead the way. Browns in New Orleans. I want to give you my quick thought, then I'll pass my baton to my partner here. I texted with Rob right before we came on. My biggest thing in this game is I think the Browns need this game because I don't know if I see a win after this for a few weeks. So this is why I do think this is big importance. I really do. I think the Browns kind of need to win this game. Thoughts?
Okay, Andy, thank you. The Browns will win this game. Okay. And here I'm gonna break this down for you. I may be long-winded, but last week the Saints, they fired Dennis Allen, right? Yep. Dennis Allen was never an inspiring hire to begin with after Sean Payton. So they fired Dennis Allen and they replaced him with special teams coach Darren Rizzi, the Rizzler, okay? He instills all this energy into the team. Real quick, the Rizzi, he's a 54-year-old guy who has his pedigree, the most he's ever done, he coached at Rutgers, was their special teams coach.
University of New Haven Chargers.
The University of New Haven, yes. Okay, correct. And he was on the Dolphins special teams from 2011 to 2018 through several regimes. Sean Payton hired him. Right. He made it through Sean Payton. When Allen became the head coach, he became the associate head coach and special teams coordinator. Here's my point. This is it for the Rizzler, okay? This is it. There's no chance that this man is going to coach the team. They would have to win out and win the Super Bowl for this guy to coach the team next year. Absolutely. So here is my point, Andy. The emotional high that this team had last week, they had that emotional high. They beat the Falcons on pure because Young-Hoo Koo missed 3 field goals. They didn't outplay him. They got lucky, okay? Yeah. So that emotional high is going to be gone. This New Orleans Saint outfit is not good. Derek Carr has no – who's their leading pass catcher? Alvin Kamara. They got no wide receivers left. Okay?
All fair points.
Now listen, our old friend Joe Woods, who was their defensive coordinator, is now he is their coordinator, but now he's been elevated to calling plays. Okay. Sure. Now Woods plays the 4-3 bend but don't break defense. And he always talks about he likes to put guys in position to attack. But what he always did was guys couldn't play free with him, Andy. They had to stay in like their lane. They had to stay in their position. Okay. We can get yards against Joe Woods' defense. If you remember in Cleveland, we gave up a ton of yards when Joe was our defensive coordinator. Okay. Yeah. He did great with our defensive backs. He's a hell of a defensive back coach. But I think this game here, the only way we lose this game is if it's totally Tankapalooza.
There you go.
If it's totally Tankapalooza, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening, Andy.
So I'm with Rob. I'm not even going to trump what he said. If you look at this game on paper, you love the Browns. You do. Yep. Alvin Kamara is the only one who scares you. Alvin Kamara is a very good player. Outside of that, I mean, we're okay. Derek Carr seems to always play decently against the Browns. But that doesn't really worry me here in this spot. Rizzi is a nice guy, New Englander. He's a young special teams coordinator in a spot that he may never get again. I agree with Robert on that too. All that to be said, all of what you just mentioned is true. I just think it's that last point. I don't know where the Browns are mentally. There's been a lot of speculation that they've checked out. There's been a lot of people mentioning that they're not interested in this game. And we're going to find out on Sunday. And I will say, this is a total question mark, Mario. I don't know what you're going to get. Could be a flower. Could be a dud. I think you can get anything in this game. It's hard to predict the Browns coming off this week because of how the temperament's been in the locker room. It's tough.
And here's the thing about the Saints with this guy at the helm. Expect the theater of the absurd. Yeah. Andy, expect a fake punt, a fake field goal.
I agree.
Expect anybody throwing the ball, halfback option, a double reverse, because this guy knows this is his one shot, okay?
Yep.
So generally when that happens, more often than not, it's going to blow up in their face, okay?
Sure.
Now, I am going to go back to a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to put my foot in my mouth probably, but I am going to say, Andy, Jameis is going to rally the troops, and I have unwavering faith because as bad as the AFC is, I'm going to sit here and tell you at 3-7, if we win this game, Andy, I'm telling you, hope is still there. You think I'm nuts, and I'm telling you, if we lose this game Sunday, I'll come on Tuesday with my tail between my legs, and I'll apologize because I know nothing. But I'm telling you, the Browns win this game, Andy. I'm telling you. The Browns have to come out like their asses are on fire, and they've got to win this game.
That I agree with.
Winston is going to come back to New Orleans. I don't want to hear this bullshit about drama. Nobody likes Winston. You know what they're talking about? Last year, when Winston was supposed to – do you remember this play when Winston was supposed to kneel? Do you remember that?
That got Allen a lot of heat from the Falcons, yeah.
But he threw a touchdown to get his buddy the bonus.
Yeah, of course.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, you know what that does? That gives him a lot of cred in the locker room, okay?
Oh, no. I think Winston's well-liked. I think Winston's all this. I actually think this is – here's where I differ. I think this is the last game. Steelers, Broncos, Steelers, Chiefs. Wow. I mean, better win this game. Better get this game. Better save this game. The Browns don't have any excuses to this game. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's full go. They've had a week off. But everyone who's on the ground is reporting murkiness in the locker room, some people feeling uneasy about the team. There seems to be some downness from the coach. I don't read that as strongly as other people do. I think Stefanski's down, and I don't think it. But I don't see this being a spur of winning. I think this is the last gate. If they want to put the season on some hope, win this game, and let's see what you can do against Steelers on Thursday night. If they lose, I think the chute's wide open. I really do. I think the chute's wide open to a lot of losses. I mean, a lot of losses.
The floodgates would, if they lose, yes, I agree. The floodgates will open, and then anything could happen.
Oh yeah, then it's speculation time.
And then it's speculation time, and everybody is up. And you know who? Sadly, you know who'll be the only one to survive, and you're going to love it. The only one that's going to survive will be D. Podesta. He'll be the only. Okay, so they were saying on local radio.
I will jump off a bridge. Will drive.
They were saying
crazy.
They were saying on local radio today, real quick. They're on local radio today, real quick, that Vrabel is in the building.
Sure.
If you're Jimmy Haslam, at the end of the year, you turn over the keys to the franchise to Mike Vrabel. You give him total autonomy on the GM, the OC, the DC, the special teams coordinator, the color of the carpet in the training room. You let him run the entire thing. You build it. You let Vrabel do everything. Who the hell says Mike can do that?
Well, I'm with you. I don't think it's a given. Now, I will not dislike that hire. I would like that hire. That hire would excite me. but I'm not in love with the hire. I am in one of these weird fans where it's like, I don't love a lot of these situations. Like Stefanski, I like him. I'm not in love with it. I'm done with Deep Podesta. I am done with Deep Podesta. I'm done with that whole thing. I'm also done with too much micromanaging. I'm not going to do that rant again. There's way too much micromanaging here.
Yep.
I'm also, I want a new quarterback here. DTR, I know is going to stay. That's fine. We need someone else to really champion this team. They're going to
okay. Real quick. I hate to tell you this. You know who your new quarterback may be? So I hope you're sitting down. Daniel Jones. What are you going to do with Daniel Jones?
Terrible idea.
Danny Dimes, buddy.
Okay, ready. Okay. And I like this man, and I know this man. I know Tony Grossi was talking about this on the radio. That is a terrible idea.
Awful.
He is not a good quarterback. He will get spit out here. He had a magical few weeks. I'll leave it there. He had a magical few weeks with the Giants 2 years ago. I'm not a Danny Dimes fan. I would really be upset. I would really be upset. That actually is going backwards because that's a project. You have to really mold it. I don't want to mold Daniel Jones.
No, how they kept him over Barkley? I mean, come on.
Oh,
we don't want him.
That's a mess.
We don't want Daniel Jones.
No, I don't. I would be really upset.
Not a transition quarterback. That's not a transition. That's a project that we don't need. Please carry on, because once again, you're getting me off track.
You got yourself off track.
I got myself off track. Daniel Dimes.
Daniel Dimes.
Yeah, okay,
I want to go to one more comment, then we'll predict the game. I'm glad Stefanski talked to the press about Wills. I'm glad he stated the record. I'm going to state it now. Wills does not deserve a soft landing here. I think he meant what he said. I think it was a business decision. And I think he's upset because he got beat out by guys playing better, and that's ridiculous. He'll be out. And once you're out, by the way, you're welcome to succeed in life. I'm not one of those guys. If he goes out and has a good career, I'd be happy for him. It did not work out here, and he did not play well under Callahan nor the new offensive line coach whose name escapes me at the moment.
Andy Dickerson.
Dickerson, right. So all that, wonderful first name. So all that to be said, like I that's where I'm at with this. I'm going to quick and simple with Stefanski. I'm glad he said that. I thought that was important. And for people who missed it, he basically said so many words. It was a poor choice of words.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, Andy, you're 100% right. Let's move on. The kid made a colossal mistake.
Yes.
He got outplayed. And obviously, he made a lot of money.
Yes.
Letting him go somewhere.
And he deserves it.
He deserves it. Let's hope he goes somewhere else and he carries. He obviously he's done here. He's done here. Move on. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. I'll lead off here. If I were a gambler, I'd stay away from this game. I think this is an impossible spot. I'm taking the Browns as I'm a Browns fan. I have no idea how the Browns are going to play in this game. I agree with what I hear everybody saying. That said, I'm just going to go on paper and my heart. Paper says Browns. Browns win by touchdown.
The line flipped this morning. It's now Browns are laying a point.
Oh wow.
So Vegas sees something. Everybody knows that the Browns have to win this game. The Browns have to win this game. I, of course, I have unwavering faith. The Browns win this game. If they don't, I'll come on Tuesday and I'll admit that I know nothing, but the Browns win this game. If they don't, then we're talking about it's on. Then you're playing DTR, you're playing Bailey Zappi, and it's time. You got to evaluate. But who the hell's going to evaluate them? Because then it may be time. It may be time.
Tuesday might be a funeral show for sure.
Oh,
this
absolutely.
week of games is very difficult because there's great matchups. I love the matchup with Ravens Steelers, even though I hate both teams. I like the Chiefs Bills, Bengals Chargers. I love the all Texas game on Monday night, Texans Cowboys. There's a lot of crappy teams playing each other too.
Yes.
Then there's some lines that are very high. Here's the games that stood out to me. I'm going to take the Chargers this week. This is the latest from ESPN.com's betting site. They're giving away 1.5 against Cincy. I think the Bengals aren't as good as people think, so I'm taking the Chargers. I think the Texans, big bounce back. I think the Cowboys are a mess.
Cowboys are dead. Cowboys are dead.
They're giving up 7.5. It's on the road. That's not really a home game anymore.
No.
And then Dolphins, this is more of like the Raiders stink. Take the Dolphins big. I think they're finally mojoing for a little bit.
They're getting it together.
I think they roll even though it's 7. I will say, though, again, from a gambler standpoint, when I looked at these games, like the Packers giving away 5 might take that, but I think at some point the Bears win. I'd be all over the Lions if it wasn't 14.
the Packers, hold on. Caleb Williams doesn't know what's up or down.
He's a mess.
He's a mess. They fire Waldron, the OC, and then they make Thomas Smith, or whatever the hell the kid's name, who never called plays, only when the OC got fired in Carolina last year. Now he's calling plays again. Chicago is a disaster.
Meltdown.
Eberflus has to go.
He's
going to get if I'm Chicago, I'm as soon as the season's over, I'm flying to Detroit with the checkbook, and I'm going to Ben Johnson, and I'm opening the checkbook, and I'm saying, Ben, what's it going to take? You got to come in and because I don't think I'm one of these guys, and I said it a long time ago. Caleb Williams isn't it, buddy. I don't think Caleb Williams is it. I think he needs a lot of help around him, but I don't think Caleb Williams is the guy. Back up real quick. Go ahead.
To your point real quickly on that. It's interesting. Sanchez, SC quarterback. Darnold, SC quarterback. Highly regarded. This will be the third one now in the last 15 years that hasn't quite cut the mustard. I'm not Caleb Williams as strong as you are, but I'm on the road. I think you're making some points. And and forever, when I was growing up, you draft an SC quarterback. You love Carson Palmer. You can go through the years. This is starting to become a weird trend. I'm not Darren Williams yet because I do think it's a mess in Chicago, but I don't think you're crazy either.
Yeah.
I really don't.
It's a mess. Okay, Andy, real quick. I think with the Chargers and the Bengals, I can't disagree with you, but I like the under 48 on that game. I think Harbaugh, the Bengals have no running game. Their running game is that short little out pass to Chase Brown and whoever the other running back
goofy.
is.
The Bengals are goofy.
Excuse me. The Bengals cannot run the football.
Agreed.
The Chargers will slow that game down. They're going to keep that under. I don't want to make an official play because I think the Chiefs have to lose eventually, but a strong play on the under, that's 45 and a hook.
I'm so tempted to take the Chiefs in that game. So tempted to take the Chiefs in that game.
I like the under, and the only reason why I don't want to play the Bills is because somehow the Bills always find a way to lose to the Chiefs, right?
I agree.
I
love
feel
the Chiefs in that game. I do.
I feel that we're going to be sitting here the week before the December 15th game, and my crazy ass is going to be calling for the Browns to beat the Chiefs somehow, some way, but because they're not going to go undefeated.
Right,
they can't.
right. Oh, no, they won't. And by the way, for seeding, it's a big game. The Bills only have 2 losses. So the Chiefs lose that game. It's now only a game, and when the tiebreaker goes to the Bills, they win. So it's not just like, hey, you beat the streak. There's a lot of seeding on that game. It's a big game.
That's a big game.
Yeah.
That's a big game. Okay, and tonight's a real big football game. It is
a big game, football game.
Everybody, the Eagles have won 5 in a row, okay? Yep. But the Eagles haven't beat anybody, okay? Yep. So I am taking and I'll give them their due respect, my Washington Commanders. I'll take them +4, and I'll take a money line because I'm telling you, the Eagles, Nick Sirianni is in over his head. The Commanders have got the mojo going this year. And I'm telling you, I love that kid, Jaden Daniels. It's going to be a hell of a game tonight. everybody on ESPN, anytime, I'll give you guys a bit of betting advice. Anytime you see anybody on ESPN, CBS, whatever, NBC Sunday night, when they're all picking the one team, you go bet the other way.
Yeah.
And everybody's picking Philadelphia tonight. And here's another thing. The total is real high tonight. This is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a shootout. When they tell you that, that's for sure an under. So me, Andy, I'm on the Commanders. Yes, the Commanders and the under. Carry on, my friend.
Well said. Take a look at those picks we said. Do you like anything more? I'm staying away from that game, but I will say I think the winner to me is going to be one I'm going to like to play. So I will say that's what I'm watching there. But I really do like these slated games this week. I'm fascinated by the Bears game because not so much I think the Bears are going to win, but I think the meltdown's on. The Lions are really quietly just running away with the NFC. And the Niners play the Seahawks. They win again. Now they're going to start to get hot. They're a 6.5-point favorite. Seahawks aren't very good.
No.
So interesting slate of games, to say the least. And there you got it. We'll be here on Tuesday. And again, I think Tuesday's show is going to be longer. I said that to Rob before we came on. I think there'll be a lot to discuss about the Browns.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot to unpack Tuesday. I'll tell you that much.
There really is.
Take your blood pressure medicine before, but go ahead.
Buckeyes go to Wrigley. I am not going to bother to break this game down because Northwestern's terrible. They're 28.5-point underdogs for a reason. This is simply a sexy game to put in a baseball field. Here's my biggest problem that I want to talk about, and I'm going to lead off here. Another noon game for this team. The Buckeyes are the big-time, prime-time, sexy team in the Big Ten. They are. They are the grab ones. They are the ones that get the biggest ratings. The Big Ten next year has got to start pounding the table for more night games and more afternoon games at 3:30. This is not good for the Big Ten. It's not good for Ohio State. I'm already hearing rumors, they haven't officially announced it yet, that Indiana and Ohio State's going to go to noon too. Can't believe it. Rob, they've got to start putting the Buckeyes on later. It's not good for the Big Ten. It's not good for the Ohio State Buckeyes. This is a team that's earned the right to be playing later. Ohio State's going to win this game. I'm not even. This is another bye week. They'll win maybe 14, maybe 30. But the noon game's a problem. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
But here's the thing: who is going to tune in to Ohio State and Northwestern at 3:30?
That's not the problem. Penn State, Ohio State could have been at 3:30 or
absolutely
at night.
Absolutely.
Indiana, Ohio State.
Okay, absolutely. And Michigan, Ohio State has been at noon for 175 years. I get that. I get that.
That's fine. But you can't have all these noon games in a row. It's like at some point, this would have been the one I would have said. I would have stood up at the Big Ten Conference and be like, if they're really going to fight to put Indiana on at noon, which sounds like they are, that's crazy. You got to put on.
They should move that one. They should move that one.
And I'm hearing they're not. I'm telling you, that's hurting the Big Ten. This is one of your prime jewels, and you keep putting them on at noon. Yep. You got to. I'm not saying this game doesn't deserve noon. It does. But at some point, the Buckeyes need to be put on at night. You've got one night game.
Yeah.
One.
Sadly.
It's not good. The Oregon game's it. I'm not going to break down this game. I think this game's a cakewalk. I don't really have much to add. I've seen Northwestern play. They stink. They barely.
Okay, real quick on this one. Here's my take on this game. Northwestern's garbage.
They are awful.
We know that. They're a mess. Obviously, no play from me. It's 28.5. I put a gun to my head. I obviously don't want to touch this game, but I think you're going to see nothing from Ohio State.
I agree.
They're going to get in and it's going to be vanilla. Do you want to hold your nose and take Northwestern? Probably not, because do you see them getting a backdoor touch? I don't know.
That. There could be a moment where they get fired up and playing at Wrigley and they score a weird touchdown late. All that goofy stuff happens in games like this.
Right.
I've learned stay away from it.
Yeah.
Stay away from it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Northwestern covers, but I don't say that confidently. I think Northwestern stinks. This is a bye week. If the brackets came out, by the way, the brackets, even as I read them, these are so temporary.
But here's another thing. With Indiana and Michigan on deck, Ryan Day and company, they're looking past this
vanilla.
Game. Vanilla. So that's why you could see Northwestern
cover,
get excited and cover. But once again, don't waste your money, folks, because it's a St. Jude pick, in my opinion.
This could be a weird game where the Buckeyes win by 10, and I would shrug my shoulders and be like, I wouldn't put much stock into it. Telling you.
Because let me tell you something. They're as sad as they are, their defense is top 30 in the country. So,
again,
I mean, I don't know.
Games like I'm a huge Irish fan. Games like this get goofy. These goofy games at stadiums like this get weird.
One more tidbit on this. Since 2020, conference home underdogs catching 30 or more have gone 10-3 against the spread. Now the line has bumped down to 28.5, but just a little tidbit. I don't know if you're a trend guy or not. Trends, but just a little tidbit. I don't know.
The Trends haven't really played as well this year at times. I'll say this though about this game. This feels like a Northwestern cover to me. I don't know why. And I'm a big Purdue fan, and I felt like Purdue wasn't going to cover, and they didn't. This game to me feels like I don't think Ohio State's going to lose it all. They are not going to lose this game. But can I see Northwestern covering goofy? I can. Stuff like this happens in games like this. This week of games, the big game is Georgia-Tennessee. I'm all over Georgia. This is now I'm going to show my gambling wounds. Georgia has burned me this year. So I'm coming in here with wounds. They burned me against Bama. They burned me last week against Ole Miss. I'm actually coming to the table again to get burned. I'm giving away 10 to cover the Vols. I don't love it. I'm just determined to get a win with UGA. So this is more of a determined gambler tilting. I love BYU at home against Kansas. I think they smoke them. Kansas only won 3 games all year. BYU won a great game against Utah. They're not your typical team. I don't think they'll be hung over from that win. They know they need to keep winning as Colorado's working for that championship game. This is not going against things I like to do, but I have to do it. I love the Irish. My mom's family all went to Notre Dame, so that's why I'm a Notre Dame football fan. I actually think UVA is going to cover this week. I think this is a dangerous line. These are typically the games the Irish have goofy
results. Stub their toe. Yep.
They get. I don't like this game. I'm nervous the Irish might lose this game. That's how nervous I am. This is in my history of this team, and since '88, these are the game. And I was there in '88. I love the Irish in '88. It's the last time I won the national championship. People why I'm referencing that year. These are the type of games Notre Dame just goes wildly wrong. UVA played tough last week. They won in a surprising game. I'm telling you, this is usually the games. It gets weird. Wouldn't be surprised if it's 7 points in the fourth quarter. Notre Dame has a history of these kind of games getting weird, and it just feels weird to me. I think they'll be fine for Army because it's in Yankee Stadium. Weirdly, Notre Dame plays up for those games, and I think USC's garbage. So I think this is the game. This is the game that worries me, Rob. This is the game I can see the Irish stubbing their toe. I don't think they'll cover 23. I don't.
Well, that's a hot take right there. I'll tell you that much. It's a hot take.
These are typically the game Notre Dame, and I'm raising my hand. And I'm raising it embarrassingly. Look at NIU. Look at some other results in the past. Look at some of these other losses. They've lost to Tulsa at home. They've lost some goofy games to goofy teams, and they're clearly a better team. They lost to Stanford last year at home. This is the game.
Not a good outfit.
This is the game where it's like UVA's goofy good. If you don't take them seriously, they will nip you.
Yeah. Okay. On the Georgia-Tennessee game, here's what I see with that one. Is I understand what you're talking about. Carson Beck has been awful.
I can't defend. Can't defend them.
I see. I'm not sure who the hell Tennessee's gonna trot out there at quarterback right now. I love the under. I think this is going to be a slugfest. It's 48. I think this is going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a back and forth. So I'm on the under in that one. I like Arkansas getting 2 touchdowns against Texas. Texas has been
rivalry for people who don't know.
And Texas has been. Texas has been up. They've been down. They don't know what the hell's which way.
They right blew
now,
out Florida. Goofy team. I've been burned by Arkansas too. So I'm staying away from the Razorbacks. But I know what you're saying. And again, for people who are too young, these two are in the Southwestern Conference. Look it up on Wikipedia.
Yes.
These are 2 teams that have a big history. I agree with it. It's a sexy game for college football fans like Rob and I. It's a sneaky game. I could see Arkansas
Very
playing well
sneaky
in that
game. And Arkansas has burned me this year on a couple of games
Oh
too,
my
because
God, they
I
burned
picked
me
them and they smoked me. And here's one, other than no reason, because I'm on the bandwagon. Oregon's laying 14 against Wisconsin.
Saw that too.
Dan Lanning, he's 23-0 as a big favorite. Oregon's on fire. I think I just think it's their year. I think they got it going, and that's my play with them right there.
I paused and thought about taking a duck too. I did. I paused. I just think Wisconsin, there's always one of those games, they haven't had it yet, where they just hang around, they almost beat a team or beat them. That might be that game. That's why I stayed away from it. But you're not wrong. Wisconsin doesn't scare me at all if I'm Oregon. They should be fine. They'll probably win by 20 or 30. But again, it's like UVA. If it gets goofy late, it's going to be cold this weekend. It's a goofy game. That game could get goofy. That's the only thing I'll say there. Again, the game to watch for Buckeye fans, watch UGA. If Georgia loses that game, that helps the Buckeyes tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
Team away from the system. And that's what you want at this point. You want Tennessee to stick around. If Tennessee could lose at Vanderbilt, they could do something goofy at the end of the year. So that's really the game there to watch. We're going to do this fast today, more on Tuesday, because I think it's going to be leading up to a big game in Boston. Cavs keep rolling. They finally had a game where they had a letdown in the first half. They admitted so much in comments after the game. They didn't really play very hard. They just weren't focused. Finally, I mean, my God, finally. Had a game where they didn't pull the throttle. But if you watch that game, there is a guy who's going to start becoming a town favorite. His name is Ty Jerome. Absolutely. He comes in the game. I call him the tornado because he does it on both ends of the floor. He just does things that wind teams up. Mitchell was great at the end of the game. I know he had that goofy play where he's trying to get his triple-double, whatever. Didn't work out. My one note of caution, and I love this team, they have to control the tempo better in some of these games. They allowed the Sixers to control tempo. That's why that game got goofy too.
Yes. Well, and here's the thing, Andy. The 76ers, because of their coach, Nick Nurse is a hell of a coach. And even though they are limited, they're wounded, their top three guys are out, he knows how to slow up a team and possibly beat them, even with a hampered roster. And right now, if you notice, the Cavaliers, like the old Warriors, I mean, they're going to run you out the gym. They're going to chuck up the shots. They're going to get the rebounds. They're going to run. They're going to bother you on defense. He's going to go to the bench. They're going to stay fresh. Now Philadelphia, and we'll see what happens later in the year. These teams are going to get physical with us. How are we going to be able to handle the half-court game when they slow it down, when they get physical? And that will be, let's see how Atkinson can make the adjustments. Obviously, they're not going to be able to run with us. When we have the ball, we have to get out and run. We have to get out and go. But you saw last night, we were a little bit lackluster. And that kid from McCain, he had a hell of a game.
He played really well.
He played really well. We let those guys and Adam Bonafide. You can't let him. You can't let him.
They didn't have it in the first half. They finally didn't have it. They finally had a half where they weren't totally focused, and that's going to happen in a professional season, especially in games. So I would say like whatever. The thing again about to what you're saying and what I said, this tempo thing is something to watch. Cavs have to play.
They have to.
They had to play rapidly. Can't do this half-court stuff.
No, they have to play like their ass is on fire because that's their game.
Running Cavs got to get running. We'll do more on the Cavs. They play the Bulls. Bulls are improved. They won in New York. They've already been the Bulls once this week, but they had a great
back-to-back. That was a good game.
That was a great win for the Bulls. Bulls are much better. And then we play the Hornets, who are goofy, but they should win that game leading up to a huge game in Boston, which we'll preview. I mean, huge
playoff atmosphere
game on Tuesday. All right, so we both like the Browns this week. Please give us comments below. We'll be here.
Unwavering faith, Billman. Unwavering faith.
I wouldn't put any money on it, but yes. We'll be cheering. I do like the under pick, though. Rob there. I'm Andy here. Have a good week. See you here Tuesday.